Good morning again. Now we are going to use that interval notation to display our answers after we solve a multi-step inequality. So step 1, solve. Step 2, graph. Step 3, write the solution in interval notation. So if I were attempting problem number 9, I would move my variables to one side. So I'm going to subtract 5v from both sides. And I get 1 is greater than 2v minus 17. I'm going to add 17 to both sides. And now I have 18 is greater than 2v. Divide by 2v, divide by 2v, and 9 is greater than v. I like to write it with the v on the left, or the variable on the left. So I'm going to rewrite this with my v. The nose of the inequality is pointing towards the v, so the less than is pointing towards v, so it needs to keep pointing towards v, and I get 9. So I'm going to put 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'm going to have an open circle on 9, and less than is shaded to the left side. So my interval notation would be, I'm headed from left to right, I'm headed from negative infinity to 9, but that 9 is not included. And so I would have a parenthesis around that 9. Problem 10. So I'm going to distribute first the negative 3 to 5x to get negative 5x, and negative 3 times 9 is a positive 27. And that's greater than or equal to 7. Now, as I add my like terms together, I get 6x plus 27 is greater than or equal to 7. When I subtract 27 from both sides, I get 6x is greater than or equal to negative 20. When I divide by 6 and divide by 6 and reduce my answer, x is greater than or equal to negative 10 thirds. So negative 10 thirds is between negative 4 and negative 3. So if I labeled my number line negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 0, negative 10 thirds would be between here, closer to negative 4 than, actually, excuse me guys, it'd be closer to negative 3 than negative 4. But as long as you put the circle between the correct numbers, it's a closed circle because of the equal sign, and it's greater than, x is greater than, so I'm going to shade to the right. Now, my interval notation. If I were reading my graph from left to right, I would hit negative 10 thirds on the graph first with a closed circle. So I would represent that closed circle with a bracket, and then I'm headed to forever in the right direction, so I'm headed to infinity. Let's do 2 more. Guys, in this next example, I have 12p plus 52 is greater than negative 2 times 4 is 8, and negative 2 times negative 2 would be a positive 4p. So as I continue to use my skills of solving or isolating my variable p, I have 8p plus 52 is greater than 8. And I'm going to subtract 52 from both sides. And when I subtract 52 from both sides, I'm going to get 8p is greater than negative 44, right? I better check that. negative 52 plus 8, negative 44. And I'm going to divide by 8 and divide by 8. And I want to reduce that. So what is negative 44 divided by 8? That's negative 5.5. So P is greater than, guys, this is a greater than sign, sorry. P is greater than negative 5.5, which is between negative 5 and negative 6. So I write negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, negative 4, and right smack dab between negative 5 and negative 6, I have an open circle because it's just greater than, just greater than, just greater than. And it's because it's greater than, I'm going to shade to the right. It's going to go forever and ever in the right direction. So as I'm reading that interval notation from left to right, I would start with the parenthesis, which is my open circle. I would put negative 5.5, and then it's going to infinity. All right, last one that I'm going to do for this video's sake, and then you'll have one to complete on your own before you begin the assignment. So I need to write 3, and the negative is going to distribute to the 4m, so negative 4m, and the negative multiplies the 1, so negative 1. And that's greater than or equal to 5m minus 25. Well, I'm going to add together the like terms on the left side, and I get negative 4m plus 2 is greater than or equal to 5m minus 25. And I want to move all of my variables, the variable m, to the left side. So I'm going to subtract 5m from both sides, leaving me with a negative 9m plus 2 is greater than or equal to negative 25. As I subtract 2 from both sides, I get negative 9m is greater than or equal to negative 27. As I divide by negative 9 and divide by negative 9, I need to pause. This is a very, very important rule. Whenever you divide or multiply by a negative, you must switch the direction of the inequality sign. So switch the direction of the inequality sign. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative. So I want to go back to problem 12, and I have negative 9m is greater than or equal to negative 27. So that's going to be m is less than or equal. Notice that I switched my inequality sign. So notice it was greater than, it became a less than because I switched my inequality sign because I divided by a negative. And then this is going to be 3. So on my graph, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have a closed circle on 3 shaded forever in the left direction. So to indicate that in interval notation, as I read it from left to right, I'm going to have a parenthesis, and I'm coming from negative infinity. I stop at 3 with a closed circle, which is a bracket. And now I want you to pause this video and try number 13 on your own and check your answer with your neighbor.